Marathon runners across the country dropping like flies, especially in this last week's rock and roll marathon in Arizona. They were all sent to the hospital with similar symptoms of vomiting, confusion, and eventually coma and death. Nobody knew the reason until now, when we have our interviewers interviewing people at the Mayo Clinic Hospital for their take on the situation. Let's take a look.
Thanks, Jim. I'm here with Dr. Macy Gimbel from the Mayo Clinic Hospital in Phoenix. So, Dr. Gimbel, what a mysterious tragedy this has been. Can you explain to me what exactly went down to cause the runners to react this way?
Of course, Rachel. So you see, it all comes down to the amount of sodium and water in your body. Sodium does a lot of different things in your body, but one of the most important things it does is it works with water to maintain equilibrium in the cell. But if there's more water or more sodium in the cell, equilibrium is disturbed.
Do you mind explaining what equilibrium is?
Of course, Rachel. Equilibrium is balance. In this case, it's the balance between the water inside the cells of the runners and the water outside the cells of the runners. However, due to their excessive intake of water, their cells were filled beyond their capacity. This is what's known as a hypotonic solution.
This is hyper bad!
Hypertonic solution is when the water outside the cell contains more solute than the water inside the cell, causing the water to rush out of the cell in order to reach equilibrium.
A hypotonic solution is when the water inside the cell contains more solute than outside the cell. This causes the water to rush into the cell in order to reach equilibrium.
Equilibrium is a condition in which the concentration of a substance is equal throughout a space.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Do you not know the meaning of a word? Do you need to know a word for that English project? Well, you're in luck, because now there is Dictionary.com. Dictionary.com gives a wide variety of words that you can just search for definitions anytime, anywhere. Check out our word of the day. Today's word is osmosis, the movement of water across a semi-permeable membrane. These words and others too can be all yours if you just go to Dictionary.com.
Ew, do people actually watch this?
Alright, so here we are at the Rock and Roll Marathon, Arizona. It's a pretty cloudy day, but that's alright. It's definitely not cold. We are showing you live footage from the Rock and Roll Marathon. This reporter is very cheery, but what he doesn't know about is the tragedy that has occurred earlier during the race. Finishing the race? Oh, great job. I see some people drinking some water. Nobody's got to get dehydrated today, drinking lots of water. You can see the runners approaching in the distance, slowly making their way to the water station set up right in front of this camera. They will take a drink from it, and as you can see, one of the runners will start to vomit and get confused. What could possibly be the reason of this? We go back to our interview to find out the reason.
So let's get back to the runners. Have you seen anything like this before?
Yes, Rachel, I have seen something like this before. What happened was all the runners contracted something called hyponatremia. Hyponatremia is usually not a big issue, but as you might have noticed, all the runners were running in extreme heats. In extreme heats such as these, and inexperienced runners feel that they need to drink more water because they're fearful of getting dehydrated. However, this was the worst possible thing they could have done. The runners drank more water than their bodies could handle. But these runners are now deceased because they drank too much water and did not have enough salt in their bodies.
Oh, that's very interesting. Do you have any more important tips, Doctor?
Yes, I do, Lisa. To ensure the safety of all marathon runners, especially those who are inexperienced and are afraid of dehydration, we encourage all marathons to provide salt tablets at all their water stops. These salt tablets can be dissolved into the water and are a great way for runners to keep their salt levels at a normal level. It is also very important that the runners are educated on the risks of hypoglycemia and understand how to use these methods.
Thank you, Dr. Gimbel. So you heard it here first, folks. If you can avoid drinking too much water, you can avoid hypoglycemia. Any of you aspiring marathon runners should think twice before running a marathon in the future. Hypoglycemia is alarmingly deadly, so take the safe route and don't go crazy with your water intake.
Thanks for watching, everybody. That's it for tonight's episode of Cut Rate News. I'm Jim Smith, and we're signing off for tonight. Thanks for watching. You marathon runner, well, you need this. You know what this is? is Alka-Seltzer. It's keeping you on the track rather than off the track. Keeps you running instead of being in a funeral. That's bad. You don't want that. You want to be here running, so you need Alka-Seltzer. Buy Alka-Seltzer.
I would rather marry Miley Cyrus than watch this. I would rather drink asparagus juice out of I would rather do a project on hypotonic solutions than watch this. This is worse than plaid and stripes. I would rather be doing a clicker quiz.
Rock and roll marathon. All were sent to the hospital.